Hello coin collectors and treasure hunters. Welcome back to our channel World Rare Coins, where we discover the fascinating world of rare coins and their incredible value. From hidden gems that could be worth a fortune to little-known coins with a rich history, we'll explore it all. So grab your magnifying glass and let's dive into today's exciting coin discovery. On top one today, we've got an exciting one for you that you definitely don't want to miss. We're going back in time to 1965, a year that holds a special place in American history and coinage. We're talking about the 1965 United States quarter. Now, I know what you're thinking. A quarter from 1965. What's so special about that? Well, hold on to your seats, because you might be in for a huge surprise. This coin isn't just another piece of pocket change. If you have one of these in your collection, you could be holding a small fortune. Keep watching, because by the end of this video, we'll reveal just how much the 1965 quarter could be worth. And trust me, it's more than you'd expect. The 1965 United States quarter was issued during a very unique time in American history. In the mid-1960s, the United States faced a major coinage crisis. The country's economy was booming, but so was inflation, and the rising cost of silver was taking a toll on the nation's coinage. In 1964, the U.S. Mint had still been making quarters, dimes, and half dollars with 90% silver content. However, by 1965, the rising price of silver made these coins far too expensive to produce. So, in 1965, the U.S. government decided to change things up. The quarter of that year, along with dimes and half dollars, was no longer made with silver. Instead, it was struck in copper-nickel with only a small amount of silver as part of the outer layer. A dramatic shift from the earlier, silver-heavy coins. This marked the beginning of a new era in U.S. coinage. But there's more. The 1965 quarter is notable not just because of its metal composition, but because of its rarity and collectability. The transition to clad coins, the copper-nickel core with a thin outer layer of silver, wasn't perfect. Some coins were struck with a higher amount of silver than others, and that's where things get really interesting for collectors. On the obverse front of the 1965 quarter, you'll find the timeless profile of George Washington, which has been the standard design for U.S. quarters since 1932. This image, designed by John Flanagan, captures Washington in profile with the inscription Liberty, the year of minting, and the motto In God We Trust. On the reverse back of the coin, you'll see an image of the eagle, the symbol of strength and freedom. The eagle is perched on a bundle of arrows, with an olive branch in its talon. Surrounding it are the words United States of America, E pluribus unum, and quarter dollar. So, what makes the 1965 quarter unique? It's the transition from silver to copper-nickel that makes this coin so intriguing. But as we'll see, some of these quarters from 1965 were struck incorrectly, and that's where their true value lies. Here's where things get really exciting. Minting errors. The 1965 quarter is infamous for having a high rate of production errors during the switch from silver to copper-nickel coins. These errors are extremely rare, and if you have one in your collection, it could be worth a lot more than you think. One of the most significant errors from the 1965 quarter series is the silver 1965 quarter, a coin that somehow retained a higher silver content than it should have. You see, not all 1965 quarters were properly clad, and some were accidentally struck with a higher percentage of silver, which makes them highly sought after by collectors. Additionally, misstrikes, such as off-center coins, double strikes, and die cracks, are common among the 1965 quarters. These errors happen when the coin isn't struck properly during the minting process, creating a unique variation that's incredibly valuable. Off-center coins are especially desirable because they're one-of-a-kind, and coin collectors absolutely love them. But what truly makes the 1965 quarter so exciting for collectors isn't just the errors themselves, it's the rarity. Because the United States Mint produced millions of these quarters in 1965, finding one that is in perfect condition, especially with a minting error, is extremely rare. Coins that are in pristine, uncirculated condition are particularly valuable. So, why does the 1965 quarter hold so much appeal? First and foremost, it's because of its historical significance. The 1965 quarter was the first coin to feature the new clad composition, marking the beginning of a new era in American coinage. That alone makes it a fascinating piece for collectors interested in U.S. Mint history. But more importantly, the rarity and collectability of the 1965 quarter make it a sought-after coin among serious numismatists. Whether it's because of a minting error or simply being in exceptional condition, this coin has a special place in the market. The 1965 quarter was a transitional coin, and coins from this period, especially those with errors or unique features, are in high demand. So, the big question is, how much could a 1965 quarter be worth? Well, it all depends on its condition, whether it has any minting errors, and if it's a rare find. If you happen to have one of these 1,965 quarters in pristine, uncirculated condition, or even better, if it has one of those sought-after minting errors, you could be holding onto a true treasure. This rare quarter can be worth as much as $79,000. $79,000? Yes, you heard that right. $79,000 for a single 1965 quarter with the right conditions and characteristics. It's an astonishing amount of money for a coin that was once just another piece of pocket change. So, the next time you're sorting through your change jar, keep your eyes peeled for a 1965 quarter. If it's in good condition, or if it has a unique minting error, you could be sitting on a fortune. On top 2, we're diving into the 1970 United States quarter, a coin that's been capturing the attention of collectors for years. Now, we know what you're thinking. A quarter from 1970? What makes that so special? Well, hold on to your hats, because you might be shocked by what we're about to reveal. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why the 1970 quarter has been making waves in the coin world and how much it could be worth today. Spoiler alert, it's not just a regular quarter. Let's kick things off by talking about the 1970 United States quarter. In 1970, the U.S. Mint was in a period of transition and change in terms of coinage. The nation was still using traditional silver coins, but things were about to take a dramatic turn. By the mid-1960s, silver had become incredibly expensive, and the U.S. government had to move away from silver content in coins like the quarter, dime, and half dollar. In 1965, the Mint introduced a clad composition, coins made of a core of copper with a nickel outer layer. This shift in materials meant that coins like the 1970 quarter no longer contained silver, but instead were made primarily of copper and nickel, making them less expensive to produce. While these changes were designed to save money, they also made the coins more durable and harder to find in pristine condition, which is a big reason why the 1970 quarter is so desirable to collectors today. So, what makes the 1970 quarter particularly interesting? The key lies in the minting errors and the fact that coins from that year were struck in limited numbers with special features that have become highly sought after. Let's dive into what makes this coin so exciting for collectors. The design of the 1970 quarter is the same as the one used since 1932. The iconic profile of George Washington, created by artist John Flanagan. On the obverse, front side, we see Washington in a left-facing profile, with the inscription Liberty, the year 1970, and the motto In God We Trust. This design is timeless and instantly recognizable. On the reverse, back, we have a majestic image of the eagle perched on an olive branch, holding arrows in its other talon, symbolizing peace and strength. The inscription, United States of America, surrounds the eagle, with the words E pluribus unum and quarter dollar completing the design. This imagery has been a hallmark of U.S. coinage for generations, and the 1970 quarter is no different. However, while the design is consistent with the traditional quarters, it's the rarity, errors, and collectability of the 1970 quarter that truly set it apart. Here's where things get really interesting. While the 1970 quarter wasn't intended to be rare, certain minting errors make it highly desirable for collectors. The key to the value of the 1970 quarter lies in how few of them were struck with mistakes during the minting process. Some of the most notable errors found on the 1970 quarter include double strikes. These coins are struck twice, resulting in a misaligned or blurry design. This is a mistake that happens when a coin is struck a second time while it's still in the press, and it makes for an incredibly rare and valuable find. Double strike coins can fetch a premium, especially if the misalignment is significant. Off-center strikes. When the coin is not properly aligned with the die during production, it can result in an off-center image. These coins are highly sought after because they're rare, and they add a unique character to the piece. Die cracks over time. The dies used to stamp coins can develop cracks. These imperfections can leave marks on the coin, and in some cases, These coins are considered highly collectible by numismatists who value the uniqueness of the coin. Clipped planchets, sometimes, the blank metal discs, called planchets, used to make coins don't get punched out perfectly. This can result in a clipped edge, where part of the coin is missing or not fully formed. A clipped planchet can make the coin even rarer and more desirable for collectors. So, while most 1970 quarters are still fairly common, if you happen to find one with any of these minting errors, you could have a valuable coin on your hands. But that's not all. There's a particularly rare version of the 1970 quarter that has collectors buzzing. Now, this is the coin that can really make your jaw drop. The 1970 quarter, minted at the Denver Mint, was released as part of a special batch for collectors. This coin is especially significant because it was part of a very limited mintage. Only a small number were released, and they were specially struck for collectors. The Denver Mint produced a very small amount of this particular quarter as part of the proof and uncirculated coin sets in 1970, and finding one of these in excellent condition can command a premium price. While these coins were originally sold to collectors through the U.S. Mint's annual sets, finding one today in mint state condition, especially one with an error, can push the value of the coin up significantly. Now, here's the big question. How much could a 1970 United States quarter be worth? Well, if you have one that's in pristine condition, or even better, if it has one of those rare minting errors, you could be sitting on a small fortune. The 1970 quarter in perfect, uncirculated condition, or with a notable minting error can fetch an impressive sum. You could be looking at a coin worth as much as $74,000. $74,000? Yes, you heard that right, $74,000 for a single 1970 quarter with the right characteristics and condition. So, next time you're flipping through your change jar or looking through your coin collection, keep an eye out for the 1970 quarter. If it's in great shape, or even better, if it has a minting error, you could be holding a real treasure worth thousands of dollars. On top 3, we're diving deep into a quarter that might be sitting in your change jar right now. Yes, we're talking about the 1972 United States quarter. Now, you might be thinking, a quarter from 1972? What's the big deal? It's just another coin, right? Well, hold on to your seats, because this coin is far more valuable than you might imagine. Stick around, because by the end of this video, we're going to reveal just how much the 1972 quarter could be worth today. And it might just surprise you. So, if you've ever wondered if your everyday pocket change might be worth a small fortune, make sure to watch all the way through to get the full scoop. Let's jump into the fascinating world of the 1972 United States quarter. Let's start by setting the stage and talking about the history of the 1972 quarter. In the early 1970s, the U.S. Mint was already deep into producing clad coins. That is, coins made from a combination of copper and nickel rather than the silver coins that were used prior to 1965. This shift was a response to the rising cost of silver, and the 1972 quarter was part of the new, more affordable series of coins. The clad composition of the quarter means that, rather than being made of 90% silver, the 1972 quarter contains only a thin layer of nickel over a core of copper. While this change made minting coins much cheaper for the U.S. government, it also meant that silver quarters from before 1965 became more rare and valuable over time. But don't be fooled. While the 1972 quarter doesn't contain silver, it's the rarity and unique features of certain 1972 quarters that have made them highly sought after by collectors today. These coins may have been produced in massive quantities, but some specific versions of the 1972 quarter are worth much more than their face value. And we're going to show you how and why. The design of the 1972 quarter is the same as the one used in most U.S. quarters since 1932. On the obverse front, you'll find the iconic portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States, created by John Flanagan. Washington's likeness is accompanied by the inscription Liberty, the year of minting, 1972, and the motto In God We Trust. This design has remained relatively unchanged for decades, making it easily recognizable and a staple of U.S. coinage. On the reverse, back, you'll see the majestic eagle perched on an olive branch with arrows in the other talon, symbolizing peace and strength. Around the eagle, the inscription United States of America is displayed, along with the motto E pluribus unum and quarter dollar. This reverse design is also part of a long-standing tradition in U.S. coinage, symbolizing national unity and the power of the United States. While this design is timeless, It's the rarity and potential minting errors on the 1972 quarter that make it especially valuable. But what's really intriguing about this coin is the rarity factor, which we'll dive into next. So, what makes the 1972 quarter so special? While most 1972 quarters are fairly common and still circulate today, there are a few specific rarities and minting errors that have caused some of these coins to skyrocket in value. Here's where the magic happens: double strikes. One of the most valuable errors on the 1972 quarter is the double strike. This occurs when the coin is struck more than once, causing the design to appear misaligned or overlapping. Double strikes can make a coin significantly more valuable because they're rare and unique. A 1972 quarter with a noticeable double strike can command much higher prices from collectors to off-center strikes. An off-center strike happens when the coin is not properly aligned with the dies during production, which results in part of the design being cut off or shifted. These off-center coins are highly desirable among collectors, especially when the shift is significant. Clipped planchets. Sometimes, the metal blank used to make the coin gets clipped during the manufacturing process, meaning part of the coin is missing. A clipped 1972 quarter is an especially rare find and can fetch a pretty penny if it's in good condition. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins with these irregularities, making them highly prized in the market. Die cracks and other variations. As coins are minted, the dies used to strike the designs can wear down, crack, or develop other imperfections. These cracks can sometimes leave marks or extra details on the coin, creating a unique look. These types of coins, called die cracks, are another reason why certain 1972 quarters are worth far more than their face value. These errors are rare, and finding one in good condition can be quite exciting for a collector. But that's not all. There's one particular version of the 1972 quarter that has become especially sought after. The 1972 D quarter struck at the Denver Mint is another key focus for collectors. While most 1972 quarters are fairly common, the 1972 D quarters minted in proof sets, special collections of coins, are much rarer. These were produced for collectors and were not intended for general circulation, meaning fewer of them are out there today. This limited mintage makes the 1972 D quarter highly desirable, especially when you can find one in mint condition or with a minting error. If you have a 1972 D quarter in uncirculated condition, it could be worth a lot more than just 25 cents. And if it has a minting error or other rare feature, it could be even more valuable. Now, the moment you've been waiting for. How much is the 1972 quarter worth? Well, if you have a 1972 quarter in pristine condition, especially if it's a mint error coin, such as a double strike or off-center strike, you could be holding something worth far more than face value. The value of a 1972 quarter in top condition can reach as high as $70,000. $70,000. That's right, $70,000 for a single 1972 quarter with the right features, rarity, and minting errors. It's hard to believe, but when collectors start bidding on these rare coins, the prices can go through the roof. So, if you happen to have a 1972 quarter in your collection or stashed away in a drawer, take a closer look. You might just have a rare treasure on your hands that could be worth thousands of dollars. On top, we're about to dive into a 1973 United States quarter that could be worth way more than you'd expect. Now, when you think about a coin from 1973, you might just picture it as a regular quarter worth 25 cents. Nothing special. But, trust me, this coin has a fascinating history and some unique features that make it a hot commodity for collectors. If you've got a 1973 quarter tucked away in your coin collection, you might want to listen closely. By the end of this video, we'll reveal just how much a 1973 quarter could be worth today. And trust me, the number might just blow your mind. So grab your magnifying glass, and let's explore why this 1973 quarter is worth so much more than just pocket change. To understand why the 1973 quarter is special, we need to take a quick look back at the history of U.S. coinage. By 1973, the U.S. Mint had already made a significant shift in the composition of its coins. After 1965, the U.S. government stopped using silver in most of its coins, including the quarter, due to the rising cost of the precious metal. Instead, the 1973 quarter, like other coins of the era, was made from a clad composition, a mixture of copper and nickel. The 1973 quarter was part of this new clad series, with a copper-nickel composition instead of the 90% silver that was used in quarters prior to 1965. While these clad quarters are common today and used in everyday transactions, the rarity and unique characteristics of some 1973 quarters have made them incredibly valuable to collectors. The design of the quarter has remained the same since 1932, with George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. It's a design that's become iconic in American coinage, but there's something about the 1973 version that makes it stand out from the rest. Before we dive into the rarity and collectible value of the 1973 quarter, let's first take a quick look at its design, because this is where the iconic imagery of the U.S. quarter really shines. On the obverse of the coin, you'll find the profile of George Washington, the first president of the United States. Washington's image, created by John Flanagan, has been a staple of U.S. coinage since 1932, and it remains a symbol of the nation's heritage and strength. Surrounding Washington's portrait, you'll find the inscriptions Liberty, the year of minting, 1973, and the national motto, In God We Trust. On the reverse side of the coin, there's the majestic eagle, a symbol of power, freedom, and resilience. The eagle's wings spread across the coin, while it holds arrows in one talon and an olive branch in the other. The words United States of America, E pluribus unum, and quarter dollar complete the design, emphasizing the unity and strength of the nation. While these design elements are iconic and familiar, the real treasure lies in the rarity and minting errors found in certain 1973 quarters. Let's explore what makes this coin truly valuable. While most 1973 quarters are found in circulation today and worth only their face value, 25 cents, there are some rarities that have caused this coin to jump in value. That's right. If you have a 1973 quarter that's in exceptional condition or has a minting error, you could be holding onto a hidden gem worth far more than you think. Here's how. Double strikes. One of the most common types of minting errors that can significantly increase the value of a 1973 quarter is the double strike. A double strike occurs when the coin is struck twice during the minting process, causing the design to appear misaligned or overlapping. This creates a coin with an unusual appearance that collectors find highly desirable. A double-struck 1973 quarter can fetch a much higher price, especially if the error is visible and the coin is in good condition. Off-center strikes. Another error that can increase a coin's value is an off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned with the dies, causing part of the design to be cut off or shifted to one side. Off-center 1973 quarters are much harder to find and are prized by collectors, particularly when the misalignment is noticeable. Clipped planchets. Clipped planchets happen when the metal blank used to strike the coin is not properly cut, leaving a portion of the coin missing. This rare minting flaw results in an irregularly shaped coin that is highly collectible. A clipped 1973 quarter in good condition can be worth significantly more than its face value. Die cracks and other variations. Over time, the dies used to strike coins can wear out, crack, or become damaged. These imperfections can transfer onto the coin, leaving die cracks, extra markings, or other unique features that increase the coin's value. If you find a 1973 quarter with a noticeable die crack or other irregularity, it could be worth a lot more than you'd expect. High-grade condition. Even without a minting error, a 1973 quarter in high-grade condition, especially if it has never been circulated or shows minimal wear, can command a much higher price. Uncirculated quarters with clean, sharp details are highly desirable, as they're much rarer than the ones that were in regular circulation and show signs of wear. .1 version of the 1973 quarter that is particularly valuable is the 1973 D quarter, which was minted at the Denver Mint. While most quarters from 1973 are relatively common, the 1973 D quarter struck in proof sets, special collections of coins, is much rarer. These coins were not intended for general circulation, so fewer of them exist today. When you find a 1973 D quarter in pristine, uncirculated condition, it can be worth a small fortune, especially if it's a mint error coin or has unique characteristics. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. How much is a 1973 quarter worth? If you have a 1973 quarter in excellent condition, or if it has one of the rare minting errors we've discussed, the value can rise significantly. Depending on the coin's rarity and condition, it could be worth as much as $68,000. $68,000? That's right, $68. $000 for a 1973 quarter. It's incredible to think that something so small and seemingly ordinary could have such a high price tag. If you're lucky enough to have one of these rare coins in your collection, you might just be holding onto a treasure worth a small fortune. So, if you've got a 1973 quarter lying around, now might be the perfect time to take a closer look. It could be worth much more than you ever imagined. Make sure to check for minting errors and look for coins in excellent condition, because you could be sitting on a rare find. On Top 5, we're about to talk about one of the most surprising quarters in American history. You've probably seen the 1974 United States quarter before, but did you know that this seemingly ordinary quarter could be worth a small fortune? That's right. A quarter from 1974 that's been sitting in your pocket or drawer could be worth a whole lot more than 25 cents. Now, you might be wondering, what makes the 1974 quarter so special? Stick around, because we're going to dive deep into the history, design, rarity, and minting errors that make this coin a must-have for collectors. And by the end of the video, we'll reveal just how much the 1974 quarter could be worth today, and trust me, the amount might leave you speechless. So, grab your magnifying glass, sit back, and let's get started on today's exciting coin journey. Before we jump into the specifics of what makes the 1974 quarter so valuable, let's first take a quick look at the historical context. The 1970s were a transformative time for the United States, especially in the world of coinage. By 1974, the U.S. Mint had fully transitioned from silver to clad coins, which are made from a combination of copper and nickel. This change was a result of the rising cost of silver and a move to make coin production more cost-effective for the government. The 1974 quarter, like all quarters minted during this period, was made using a clad composition, a mixture of copper and nickel, instead of the 90% silver used in quarters minted before 1965. While this made the 1974 quarter more affordable to produce, the real value of this coin lies in its rarity and the errors that were made during the minting process. So while these coins are commonly found in circulation today, certain variations of the 1974 quarter can be worth far more than their face value. And these rare coins are what we're here to talk about today. Before we explore why the 1974 quarter can fetch such high prices, let's take a quick look at its design. The 1974 quarter features the classic design that has been a hallmark of U.S. quarters since 1932, and it's packed with powerful symbolism. On the obverse, front side, you'll find the portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States. His profile was created by artist John Flanagan and is surrounded by the inscriptions "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and the year of minting, 1974. On the reverse, back side, you'll see the eagle perched on an olive branch, holding arrows in the other talon. This design symbolizes peace and strength, and it has been used on quarters since 1932, making it one of the most iconic coin designs in U.S. history. The reverse also includes the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, and quarter dollar. While this design is recognizable and timeless, the rarity and errors on certain 1974 quarters make them stand out from the rest. Now, let's get to the exciting part. What makes the 1974 quarter valuable in the world of coin collecting? While most of these coins are common and circulate in everyday transactions, there are a few key characteristics that can make certain 1974 quarters worth thousands of dollars. These are double strikes. One of the most valuable types of minting errors on the 1974 quarter is the double strike. This occurs when the coin is struck more than once, causing the design to appear misaligned or overlapping. A double-struck 1974 quarter can make the coin much more valuable to collectors, especially when the error is significant and clearly visible. Some of these coins can fetch a much higher price, depending on the condition and prominence of the double strike. Off-center strikes. Another rare error that can increase the value of a 1974 quarter is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned with the minting dies, causing part of the design to be shifted or cut off. If you find a 1974 quarter with a noticeable off-center strike, it could be worth much more than a regular quarter. These errors are highly sought after by collectors because of their uniqueness. Clipped planchets. Clipped planchets are another rare error that can increase the value of a 1974 quarter. This happens when the metal blank used to mint the coin is improperly cut, leaving a portion of the coin missing. A clipped planchet results in an irregularly shaped quarter, and these coins are highly collectible for their rarity. A 1974 quarter with a clipped planchet can fetch a premium price, especially in good condition, die cracks, and other variations. As coins are struck over and over again, the dies used to mint them can begin to wear out, crack, or become damaged. These imperfections can leave unique marks or extra details on the coin, making it stand out from others. Die cracks, die breaks, and other small errors can make a 1974 quarter more desirable to collectors, which in turn increases its value. High-grade condition. One of the most important factors in determining the value of any coin, including the 1974 quarter, is its condition. A mint condition quarter with little to no wear and tear is always worth more than a circulated coin. If you happen to find a 1974 quarter that's been carefully stored and remains in pristine condition, it could easily be worth much more than face value, even without any errors or rare features. The 1974 D quarter, minted in Denver, is another version of the coin that's worth keeping an eye out for. While most 1974 quarters are minted in large quantities, the 1974 D quarter, particularly those struck for proof sets, is rarer. Proof coins are specially made for collectors, and they weren't intended for general circulation, making them harder to find in the wild today. If you happen to come across a 1974 D quarter in perfect condition, especially if it has a minting error, it could be a valuable find. So, the big question: how much is a 1974 quarter worth? Well, if you have one of these rare quarters with a minting error, or if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, it could be worth a lot more than just 25 cents. Depending on the rarity, condition, and minting errors, a 1974 quarter can be valued at $68,000. $68,000? Yes, you heard that right. A 1974 quarter can be worth up to $68,000 if it's a rare, error-filled gem in top condition. So, if you've got one of these in your collection, or if you happen to stumble upon one in your loose change, don't let it slip away without taking a closer look. And there you have it. A coin that might seem like just another ordinary 1974 quarter could be worth thousands of dollars. So make sure to double-check your change and coin collection. If you have one of these rare quarters, you might be holding on to a true treasure. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on any of our future coin discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting!